Are we doing this wrong? Yes. Are we idiots? Yes. Are we going to continue to do what we're doing right now? Yes. So there you go. So put your keyboards down and just chill. Alright, let's back it up a bit so we don't start in the wood. See what happens. Woo! Give me some of that. Woo! I don't like all of that. Let's flip it 180. Let's flip it and pull it back. I killed it. Let's flip it so it stays a little more stable.
Let's got any thick nails?
Oh yeah, so it yeah, let's see what we got.
Go ahead and kill your camera.
Alright, we'll bring you right back just a minute. Cool. Try this again. So you ask yourself, are we doing this wrong? Yes. Are we idiots? Yes. Are we going to continue to do what we're doing right now? Yes. So there you go. So put your keyboards down and just chill. We're just trying different thicknesses. Those are about 1 inch. That one's about 2. I think once this is figured out how we're going to lock this log in, I believe we're going to have some really effective and accurate cuts. So I'm going to set you down for a minute. We're going to dilly. We may even dally, but it's not very often that we do both at the same time. But right now we are dillying and dallying, so I'm going to shut the phone off, or the camera off. I'll be right back. hold on. You gotta do a sweep.
All the way back.
All the way back. Yeah, the speed makes it happy. That's pretty warm. You definitely get more accurate cuts the faster. 55, 60 on that speedo. And we're getting good cuts. These are 1-inch boards. We've got some thickers. Some 2-inch, 1.5 inch, and 1 inch. We're just kind of messing around. This is our system. All kidding aside, this will probably be our system. I mean, really, something like this, but just a little more permanent. With screws.
Just need a box of screws. The only thing with metal is you won't have to replace it.
On this part is metal.
Yep.
Yeah. Buddy, Buddy. We're gonna have to work on a sweep system. I can feel it. The more the crumbs get on the wheel, you feel it crunching down the road. So let's clean the wheels up. We'll load this last log. And we'll do a happy dance. Oh yeah. running low on fuel because we spilled some.
Well, if we can just figure it on this side.
Yeah. This is always going to be a two-person operation. It's actually really tricky pushing because you're pushing on the handlebar and you're trying to maintain speed. And when you get into an area that's wet or full of knots, like that, like 2/3 of the way down where you get the double knot there, it would slow down, and that's when we get that little dip. So I'd really have to keep it. I've been keeping it around 60, and that seems to work well. I think that's got... So, YouTube friends, if you're overhearing this conversation and you're not totally bored out of your skull, we've got a few modifications to make this thing overall extremely happy with it. We modified the tightness of the blade. We went tighter is better. I guess that's a good moral compass to live by, right? Tighter is better. We got some pretty cool boards. We just grabbed 3 logs out of the woods that were cut up originally for firewood. That's why they're this size. We can't use a chainsaw. We're in fire season, but as I say that, it's raining, sprinkling. So we can't go out. There are a couple dead trees which would fare well for some long boards, but if we fired up chainsaws and went into the woods, yeah, it'd be bad. It'd be all bad. The neighbors would hate us. So we're not going to do that. So a couple modifications. We figured out the blade tight is good. We're going to modify, Skip's going to do some work on the lathe. Modify this, because we really had no perspective as to how much this thing would stick out. It's created a little bit of a ridge on the tire, not anything bad. But we're going to reconfigure this knurled piece of black steel pipe to capture the entire, going to bring it out as much as we can, to capture the entire wheel, which I think will be better because the longer we ran it, I was smelling rubber, and this is warm. This is very warm, so I think it's not hitting it square. It's going to have some traction issues, and it's creating the rubber to get hot. Everything else worked well. The roller guides worked well. Oh, another modification: the hand screws that are used to lock this in position when we get to the height that we want to cut at. I did this in flat stock. This is like 8 by 3/4. Doesn't matter what the size is, but it's a little difficult on the hands. So we're going to do either round stock, probably, right? Like some wood dowel, I'm excited, sorry, some metal doweling. Something. We're going to get creative. Maybe a little bit longer, just so there's a little more leverage, so you're not fighting it so hard to get it, because you really want it locked in. But
I have an idea on that.
Yep, there you go. The flat steel is a little rough on the hands. Everything else is good. The shrouding is good. The cooling seems to work well. If you didn't get a good look on the damage, we had a little tractor damage, getting it out of the car, out of the truck. Yep. Yeah. So we're going to figure this out. Either I'm going to figure out how to pull this out. The problem with this tank is this tank doesn't balance. You know, there's not a tube that connects right to left. So we've decreased the capacity of this back cylinder's fuel capacity quite a bit. And like I said, this was new. It's coming. Here comes the rain. Let's put some tarp on this. We should probably tarp the wood as well. We'll be right back. We got rain. We'll be right back. Oh yeah, another quick modification you may have heard us talking about earlier is, and I know I've talked about this in a previous video, but it just didn't get done before the trip, is to build sweeps, right? Because you really feel the difference on these wheels when they're getting packed with sawdust. It makes it a little crumbly. So we need to sweep not only the wheels, see, look at that, gets packed in there. Not only these wheels, but this. Originally I was going to shroud these wheels so the sawdust wouldn't fall in here. I may still do that. We'll see. Anyway, we're going to break this loose from the car. It's raining. Off we go. Well, kids.
Is that bar disconnected?
It is not. Give me 1 second. Let me do this wrap up of this video. We're going to leave the 8N out because whatever it is. So I flipped the seat up so our butts won't get wet in the morning. I forgot to bring the 8N battery up that fits in here. So we had to do some redneck engineering with some jumper cables and some duct tape. Oh, it's fine. We use the battery out of the mill, and that's too big to fit because the loader's in the way. Extremely pleased. Honestly, if you had talked to me earlier today when we were trying to unload this thing and we damaged the tank and it was really heavy and clumsy, and we spent all day pretty much unloading all the fuel. don't know if you can see the Dodge there backed up, unloading fuel out of the truck and getting this thing unloaded and then set up with the skis and everything. We've got quite a pile of wood we made with just junk that was going to go into the burn pile, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I just don't want it to get wet. It's still pretty wet. This was just cut down before fire season, so probably May. Probably before Memorial Day weekend, June, July, August, September. So it's like 4 months old. We were messing around with some thin cuts. Yep. Faster blade speed makes for a more accurate cut. Now I know. I don't know. I'm not a sawmill guy. At least not this type of band mill. I've worked sawmills before, multi-blade, multi-cut sawmills before. That's what I've had access to from my neighbor right on the other side of that little hill. And I've used theirs, but you know, I'd like to have your own, especially if you built your own. All right, well, it's raining and we got to get the winch and we got to get some tools and stuff put away. This worked. I'm going to make this into a more permanent thing where we got a tubifer that friction fits in between, and then this will probably be metal, some metal with multi-holes, because the blade just doesn't go down that far. We put stops. I welded stops into here today so we don't inadvertently run this into the metal, right? The metal deck, the roller guides. So this is cleared of that even at its lowest setting. So these are our prototypes. I'm going to take them home, build them in a more permanent fashion. I'm rambling. I'm excited. I'm a little cold. It's a little rainy. Oh man, the band mill sawmill, like a 9-year project, right? Start to finish, including this damn trailer. And as it sits, if we're going to do, because this thing at its low setting runs into the tires, and if you remember, I think I talked about it earlier, the axle can remove, or we'll put it on blocks and we'll pull the wheels off. That actually may be easier, just to pull the wheels off. And then 4-post this, or 3-post it, whatever, on blocks, so we can cut the long stuff. But I won't be able to get into the woods to get the long trees. There's like 4 or 5 dead trees back in here that would be perfect for sawmill boards. I can't get those until probably middle of November when fire season's over. Made a bit of a mess, but it's awesome. We're excited. All right, he's doing too much work by himself. The Ford. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have a beer. I didn't want to drink beer and be operating heavy machinery, of course. So the plan for tonight is to work on this. It's looking a little naked, but I figured it out. I can shift it. Last night, Skippy and I were dinking around with this thing, getting it from high to low to reverse. All works fine. The differential lockout in the back works well. I got that freed up and working. Posi-track and the open diff. Both the selector on the lever works fine. The cable for it is stuck, so I'm not worrying about it this trip. I'm taking this home. I'll work the cable. The reverse, well, you know, we're going to talk about this in another video, but the other cable too that does a reverse lockout so you don't inadvertently throw it in reverse when you're going forward, that cable's stuck. It's hanging up there. It's been soaking in some oil. Yeah, that's a good bung. Bung bung. Did you hear the barrel? Anyhow. All right, listen, I appreciate you guys hanging out and sticking with this 8 or 9 year sawmill project. It's 98.3% done. A couple little fine tweaks, and of course routine maintenance as things break and wear. So I'm really excited. How about them apples? Really excited. What's he doing? See, that's how you properly spool a winch. Nice and tight. Until he gets dinged in the back of the head by that thing. Good God, there's no... Anyway, I'm going to give him a hand. I'll be right back. All right, it's a rainy night up here on the mountain at El Rancho. Gotta go, gotta run.